loves children, he only knows hate, which only gives real infants fuck anyway. So I guess that's the only way to live a thug life, but screw it. I guess I'll go back home, where we go to war with freedom and pieces of parchment and pension still, praying that peace will be still, only knowing that Bibles and religious texts aren't clear here, where one will die in a doctor's table if it's help you can't afford. You can't get the cure for AIDS unless you put points on the scoreboard. And money is the root to all evil. No one knows the root to all good. Death is looking for all people. Life can't live in the hood, where your color is the only hashtag required for being left alone in the street, for the memories of tomorrow's, mañanas, millenniums, and walls to keep you there until you're washed away in the distant memory of some mural's millennium of yesterday. Where my gender specifications or non-specifications keep me so in such a trap and entrapment that those who know and identify me as black then keep me entrapped like a rat entrapped with all these isms and ideas that don't actually exist in what I really am. So I guess that keeps me wondering what black is. If it's the back fist of a black fist, I guess that's taking me down. Then I guess it's all the same now. Or if the clown wears a badge and praise to stars and bars that stripes and aren't even the actual colors of today, I guess I need a new flag. I guess I need a new brag. I guess I've been a bastard for so long, God damn it, I need a new dad. Where freedom and hypocrisy fuck humanity till they give birth to mental slavery and historical contradiction. Where idolatry is the tradition. Revolution will put you in prison. Justice still pretends to be blind, and the Constitution is a fuck you fiction written in a contradiction. I guess I mean home, where one man's dream is another man's nightmare, and one man's fear is another man's tombstone, and one can find love in the beautiest of moments. I mean home, not because I want it, nor because I own it, but because that's where my people and my family live, so somebody got to get on it. I prayed daily, a rifleman's prayer, knowing that this was my rifle and my friend, shooting who ever would dare to threaten me coming home to my family. And my bro right next to me, because I'm not taking his mother a flag when we get back home side. I mean home. Where my rights are not rights at all. Where humans have degraded themselves from the divine nature of being universal and human into some set idea from some racist ideology that don't make sense to real humans anyway. Home, where every law ever scripted and every written was ever scripted and written to keep me broken down, enchained, enshackled, and smitten. Where your black laws evolved into Jim Crow. Where your Jim Crow is now a penal code. Where everything you did, everything you bought was on my back. And that's everything you sold. Where you left me with my dreams broken down in a powdered rock that I had to bubble up into something new. Crack that you addicted to. So now my hip hop, whenever we rock and anytime we beatbox, this is what it is. I guess I'll go back home. Cause no matter how many times I click my heels, Toto, there's no place like it. This is our home. This is our home. People work for us. There are 220,000 people in the city. 60,000 are inner city youth. Each youth has 2 parents. That's 8. 1 times 3 is 3 times 6 is 18. Add a 0, it's 180,000. So how come your politicians don't reflect your population? It is my belief that we are in the transitional period of South African apartheid racial regime and replacement. If this is the case, then we must be clear about our moves. Know who our enemies are. Because the top officer in this city has not elected to step down or indict. We can call for whoever we want, but if we don't get the head of the snake or the heart of the beast, we will not win. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your words. Let's give Agape another round of applause.
Next, we're going to hear from Raphael. He's a community organizer, and he's been at the heart of this work for the last 16 weeks. So let's give him a round of applause.
Right on, right on. Want to give a big shout out to Agape again. Wow. Hey, so that was so powerful for me. I hope nobody expects me to be that powerful. So one love to my brother. So mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. I want you to repeat after me. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. And a revolutionary means having an unwavering love for oppressed people. So in the name of revolution, I want to say all power to poor people.
All power to poor people.
All power to red people.
All power to red people.
All power to black people.
All power to black people.
All power to brown people.
All power to brown people.
All power to yellow people.
All power to yellow people.
And all power to white people.
All power to white people.
Right on. All right, you can start repeating after me. I like that last part. All right, so one thing I want to speak on, I want to thank Free the People Rochester, Stanley, the movement, for having me here. Yes, let's give them some love. Yes, let's give them some love. Revolutionizing. I want to speak on being the example, all right? I think right now, in this current state, in Rochester, around the nation, around the globe, we are witnessing the examples of what it means to be revolutionary. All right, but before I get on to the people who are the revolutionaries being the example, I want to briefly talk about the people who are not the revolutionaries and not being the example. So I want to start with the officers who initially approached Daniel Prude, brother of Joe, Valerie. I met them earlier. One love to y'all. Let's keep wrapping our arms around them. But those officers who initially approached them, they had an opportunity to be the example of revolution. They could have gave that man a blanket. They could have gave a fuck about how he was doing. They could have called for more backup if they didn't know what to do. But you want to know what? The motherfuckers decided to laugh at this person who was in the street. They decided to put a motherfucking bag on his face. And then they decided to watch him die in the snow. So we want to make sure we call shots to the motherfuckers who aren't being the example. Next, we're going to talk about our mayor, Lovely Ann Warren, the chief of police, everybody else who knew about that shit in March, excuse me. This was before George Floyd was murdered. And the reason I'm saying we could have been the example, Lovely Ann Warren could have decided in that moment, when that video came across her desk, she could have said, not on my watch. She could have said, fuck that, not on my watch. And she could have got all of us together and we would have shut that shit down immediately and been the example. But you want to know what? Her and the rest of her lackeys decided to sweep this shit under the rug. Talking about fear of us resisting and shutting shit down. So you want to know what that meant to me? The message is that they must have thought this wasn't going to happen when we found out about the shit. Yep. They really thought we wasn't going to shut shit down when we found out they was lying, swept it under the rug, and completely disregard the murder of Daniel Prude by RPD. Finally, we heard Lovely Ann Warren recently talking about all this apologetic bullshit, her condolences to Daniel Prude. We here for you and all this other bullshit. We saw officers at that fake ass vigil that was happening at that church. We saw officers standing out there acting like they gave a fuck. And I'm happy them resistors came and shut that shit down. That's what we supposed to do. But I want to say one thing right now to lovely Ann Warren and all those motherfucking supposed good cops. Where they at? Where the fuck are they at right now? I haven't seen not a single goddamn cop on our side standing out here in jeans and motherfucking t-shirt talking about fuck the police. Yeah, we don't supposed to be doing that shit. So in the words of my homie RBG Divine, if there are any good cops, then y'all stop this shit from happening. Otherwise, hell no, y'all ain't no good cops. So let's get to the order of this shit. Who are the people who are being the examples of revolution? We start in our hometown. Soon as Free the People Rock, other organizers with them heard the news about somebody getting lynched by the RPD. You know what they said? Not in my backyard.
That's right.
Not in my backyard. Fuck that. Not in my backyard. And they switched gears from George Floyd to focusing on getting justice for Daniel Prude. That's the example of revolution. That's the example. The other revolutionaries, and I hope you guys are hearing me, the artists who we are hearing, the poets, Agape, other folks, the rappers, the musicians, Daniel Ponder, everybody. We all must begin to revolutionize our perspective. So what that means, if we want to make music, we want to make art, we want to teach, we want to cook, we want to do anything, that shit has to focus on revolution. And revolution, as I mentioned, an unwavering love for oppressed people. Period. This is my final thought. The demands have been laid out. They are very clear and concrete. The same people in power who was able to sweep shit under the rug have the power to meet every demand that has been laid out by Free the People Rock. They got the power to do that. They got the power to do that. So we need to ensure that there's a deadline. Time's up, motherfucker. There's a deadline. And if they cannot meet our demands, then you know what? We got to get their ass out of there and get somebody in there who can meet them. We vote these people in power, and we should be kicking their ass out when they don't serve us. So I want all of y'all to look around y'all. And my brother right here, Frank Nitty, Milwaukee, one love to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all being here. But y'all look around, as he said. This is the fucking revolution. This is it. This is it. If anybody want to ask, what is revolution? What does it look like? It's all of us taking a stand and saying, not in our motherfucking backyard. Thank y'all.
Okay, I was trying to get some clarity on RBG because y'all know who I thought it was. Let's give Raphael one more round of applause. So as he was talking about, you know, these elected officials not doing what we want and voting them out, I learned something new today from our Attorney General. So as we talk about the grand jury convening and the murder of Daniel Prude, we worry about how diverse that grand jury is going to be, right? So today we learned that the grand jury comes from the voter pool. And we know, as a disenfranchised community, who the voter pool is, right? So it's mostly white folks. And it just, not stunned me, but it's just so frustrating to see how these systems so intricately work together to keep people down and to protect the people that have power. So again, I don't want to be on my, soapbox, but we have to register to vote. Please,
Hold on,
please,
yeah.
please.
And everyone out here today, you are Daniel Prude.
Sorry about that.
You are Daniel Prude.
There's the gas station.
We're all Daniel Prude.
Oh, it's okay. It's over his.
I want to talk today about defunding the police. Now, this is a demand that you will hear that it's unrealistic.
Yeah, I apologize for having to pause the live
We
there.
need the police.
I had an incident happen at a gas station on the way back
What
here.
does defund the police mean?
And
what does that look like?
Their customer support decided to call me.
That's right. That's right. One of my favorite representatives, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, told us what defund the police looks like. Defunding the police looks like the suburbs. I serve on the Brighton Town Board, and we have our own police department. We have 37,000 residents in Brighton. And do you know how many cops we have? 40.
Yesterday, and I noticed that you
It's in
had
the car.
40!
I got a bunch of people. I just really appreciate it.
Wait, it doesn't end there. So we got the Monroe County Sheriff's
In
Office.
the car. It's just.
That's okay. Well, we're
We
around.
have
We're here.
approximately
We have customers, so if you need more, just let us know.
748,000 people in Monroe County.
In case you lose that one.
I'll probably end up.
How many cops do you think we have in the Sheriff's Office? Sworn officers in Monroe County Sheriff? 750. Now, I'm not the best at math,
They need to put a mask on.
but both of those statistics, I say it's about 1 cop for every 1,000 residents. Now, let's talk about RPD. How many people are in the city of Rochester? About 210,000. How many RPD officers do we have in the city of Rochester?
164. 64?
700
In the inner city.
police officers. Again, I'm not the best at math, but that is 3 times the cops that we have in the suburbs. And so when you tell me that we can't defund the police, you're telling me that we can't have the same circumstances that are in the suburbs. This is about equity. This is about justice. This is about over-policing our black and brown communities at our expense. You know, I was on a panel the other day, and one of the questions was, why should we care about what's going on in the city of Rochester when we live in the suburbs? They actually asked this question. This was a question that people seriously were pondering. And I said, you know why we should care? Because the suburbs look this way at the expense and on the backs of the people of the city of Rochester. It is generational theft of wealth that created the suburbs. And when we ask to defund the police, we're asking for our reparations. We want the investment that has been made in the suburbs to be made in the city, in our communities, and not in policing our communities, but in building our communities. Because we deserve everything that is in the suburbs. I want to point out another difference between what we have in the city and what we have in the suburbs. I have been to BLM protests all over this county, from Hilton to Fairport to Pittsburgh, in my own town of Brighton. And what do you think the police response is to those protests? Do you think they gear up in riot gear? Do you think they have pepper balls and tanks and LRADs, weapons of war? Do you think you see that on the streets in the suburbs of Rochester? Hell no. Hell no. I'm telling you, those cops, they accompany us on those marches through the suburbs. You know why? Because they're accountable to the communities that they serve.
Say that.
They are not an occupying force.
Say that.
So we are demanding equity. We are demanding exactly what y'all have in the suburbs. And we deserve it. Because again, the suburbs were built on the backs of generational theft of wealth from our Black and brown communities. Again, we are out here for justice and equity. And that means that we are all in this together. I want to see more people from the suburbs out here standing up for what is right. And if we don't get it, we'll shut it down. Again, defund the police. And fuck the police. Say his name.
Daniel Prude.
Say his name.
Daniel Prude.
Say his name.
Daniel Prude.
Ashe.
Let's give Robin a round of applause who did our teaching today. It really blows my mind that it's only 40 officers in Brighton. It blows my mind. I just think about going to the corner store. We can't even walk out of our houses without being stopped by the police, without running into the police at the corner store, without seeing them sitting in a parking lot at Dunkin' fucking Donuts. It's insane. So let's give Robin one more round of applause. And I don't know if you guys know who Frank Minnie is, but he's an organizer and an activist from Milwaukee. They did a 23-day walk from Milwaukee to DC, putting in work for liberation. He's been here with us for the last couple of days. We're going to hear from him. Give him a round of applause.
How y'all doing today? Happy birthday to Daniel Prude. I was listening to what she was saying and defunding the police, and a lot of stuff she was saying was true about how the police are, how it's just a lot of police in our communities. And one thing I can tell y'all from the walk that we did, we walked from Milwaukee to, y'all know that by now, we walked from Milwaukee all the way to Washington, D.C., 750 miles. It took us 24 days. And while we walked through these white communities, one thing I'll tell y'all is a couple things that I saw. One was they didn't have no police. Like literally, it was the state patrol was the police in a lot of these little white towns. They don't have any police. So think about that. When the white people have a whole city of white people, they don't even have police. That's what it looks like when you defund the police. Another thing I thought about when she was talking was about HIDTA, high intensity drug trafficking areas. And that's what they came out with. The FBI and the CIA and all those different agencies are in our community too. So outside of the local police, you got HIDTA all through our community as well. But when the opioid epidemic hit, they offer rehab to all the white people that was on pills. They offer lesser sentences to all the white people. When crack hit the black community, they put HIDTA there, high intensity drug trafficking area, where they put nothing but FBI, and they still there. So you got HIDA in the community, you got the police in our community, you got everything in our community. All that money going towards our community to keep us stuck there. But when white people have literally the same issue that we had with the opioid epidemic, they literally gave them lesser sentences in rehab. Ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, the disparities that we see in this country. And while we walked, I saw that a lot. And just listening to her talk about that reminded me of how there literally was no police. Like a lot of those communities, I even thought like, man, if black people moved to a town with like 1,500 people, it was another interesting thing. Like the police, the local police was the only ones that could stop people. Like in a lot of those towns, like the state police had one of the people had ran that literally drove through our protest while we was marching, drove through and hit one of my friends. And the state troopers was right there, and they was like, we can't arrest him till the local police get there. That's literally what they said. So my friend punched him in his face like, bop, bop. And I was like, now look, I know you standing here and you witnessed it, but you told me y'all have to investigate before y'all arrest anybody. We want the same equal rights that you had when you couldn't arrest dude that hit my friend. And it worked though. I couldn't believe it worked. It worked though. I was like, we stood in front of him, we told him like, no man, keep that same energy you kept for the white dude that just hit him with a car when he got hit in his face. We want the same energy. When the local police came, they tried to, change the thing, but the whole point was I saw how much power that the local police had. So a lot of the things that we trying to accomplish, if we accomplish it locally, you can keep the government out your business. Y'all got a lot of black things going on in Rochester. Y'all got a black mayor. Y'all don't love her right now, but y'all did vote a black mayor in, which means y'all can vote another black mayor in, and another black mayor, and another black mayor, which means y'all can vote a lot of black politicians. And the thing about it is y'all got voters out here. You start with finding out where everybody lives, communicating with each other. When y'all do things like this, y'all need to be finding out where everybody lives, where all of y'all live. You know why? Because if they don't want to do it, y'all aldermen or y'all city officials, y'all county officials, if they don't want to do what y'all want them to do, you could pick anybody in this crowd and replace them. Because y'all got voters out here in real life. You could pick any, it don't take much. I don't know about here, but in Milwaukee, you only need 200 signatures to get on the ballot in order to run for an alderman. I don't know how many signatures it is. Anybody know how many signatures you need to get on the ballot?
A lot more than that.
For alderman?
Yeah. For city council, you still have more.
Yeah, maybe, but the point is, it don't take a lot to actually get the signatures. I've seen people pay $1 a signature and get 200 signatures, 500 signatures. To run for mayor, it costs 3,000 signatures in our city. But I've seen people pay $1 a signature and benefit off the fact that we don't know nothing about the primary election. Benefit off the fact that we don't know nothing about when to vote before the vote. Because a lot of times they knock our candidates out before the actual election, and we got too many black candidates that benefit from not having nobody to go against. A lot of y'all aldermen don't have an opponent. A lot of y'all elected officials don't even have an opponent. They go get the signatures on the ballot. It might cost them $500,000 to get the signatures, and then they don't even have an opponent. And then they become an elected official, and then we look at them like they somebody. So then we keep on re-electing them and re-electing them and re-electing them, and nobody runs against them because they think, well, I can't run against a city councilman. I can't run against an alderman. You are an alderman. You are a city councilman. Donald Trump just won the presidency, and he don't know shit about being a president. I'm being honest. So why can't y'all take these positions and do what the people asking y'all to do? You got people asking for demands. If these people don't want to do what y'all want them to do, get their ass out of office and put one of y'all in there. Y'all got voters right here. I'm being real with y'all. Instead of just standing there and thinking about like, oh, well, what we gonna do? Change these people, get rid of these people. Start at the smallest level. Start in your small community and use that as a threat. Show them, you know what? We replaced everybody in this district. Got replaced. You want to be replaced or you want to get with the program? People gonna start changing when they see that. When they see a whole district change and everybody get rid of in one whole district, the district next door gonna be looking like, wait a minute, I don't want to be getting rid of too, because at the end of the day, these people just want a job. A lot of people ain't never been paid $100,000 a year for nothing. I'm being real. So they got a couple signatures, now they getting paid $100,000 a year. They'll do anything to keep that job, to keep that job security. When she talked about living in the suburbs and how being in the suburbs, we already know that the suburbs, ain't nobody gonna send their kids to our school systems. We deserve, like she said, everything that the suburbs got. We deserve everything because we pay more taxes than them anyway. to tell you the truth. On the state level, the cities pay more taxes than them anyway. So as we defund the police, one thing I wanted to tell y'all, and I don't know if this one of y'all demands or not, but I want to give y'all this, because I thought about this, and everywhere I go, I try to think of the most effective way to create change. If people love it, they love it. If they don't accept it, I appreciate that as well. But one thing I realized was, we already know this as far as black people, period, but at this point, the police do not know how to handle individuals that have mental health issues at all. At all. Can we all agree to that? Okay? We can all agree to that. We need to create some type of system of accountability. I don't care if somebody rides in a car with them. I don't care if somebody pulls up on the scene before them. There has to be training not gonna fucking work, okay? Training not gonna work. Education ain't gonna work. Body cams, they keep on trying to sell it. Oh, we need body cams. Get body cams. We're getting killed on camera already. And ain't shit happening. We already seeing it. People get killed on camera. Giving everybody a camera ain't gonna change shit, because when they get killed on camera, they don't change nothing. So I'm not really thinking about body. We changed the laws, but they got laws already in place that say an officer can't allow an officer to act the way an officer acting. So every time, in order to be a good cop, you gotta stop a bad cop. Okay, so every time an officer does something, you got 3 other cops on the scene that have an oath, and it's by law they supposed to stop that one bad cop, but they don't. That's why all of them should be charged. I want y'all to understand why people asking for all these people to be charged. But when you change these laws, they get a way to get around it, or they saying chokehold bans. Well, George Floyd wasn't killed with a chokehold. He was stopped from circulatory breathing. So they put a knee on his neck, so that wasn't a chokehold. So can they still get away with that, even though they're trying to ban on chokeholds? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I don't fucking trust the police. That's just the point. So when we talk about defunding the police, and people talk about the quote-unquote black-on-black crime, which we know is no such thing, poor people commit crimes, not black people, poor people, okay? And when we talk about all of those things, I think that we need individuals that can be on the scene with the police that can say, you can't do that. Oh no, you gotta stop doing that. An individual that's not part of the police department, that knows exactly what the police can and can't do, that's on the scene telling them, you can do this and you can't do that. I think that's what we need. We need health professionals that can show up on the scene for situations that can't be handled by the police because they don't know how to handle a mental health situation. And that's what I personally think. I don't know if y'all think that's a good idea, but I think for sure. I think if you had an individual there on the scene that was not a part of the police department telling them, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't grab him like that, put your weapon up, you need to use your taser first, literally telling them what to do and when they can do it and how to do it. Then when they break the rules of that individual standing right there, that should be terms for termination, for prosecution, for everything else. Okay, because at this point, like I said, I don't trust the police. Either that, or in my city, we work for violence interrupters. Individuals like me, or like the individuals that y'all have here, that can show up instead of police in situations that are on payroll by the city, not to be a part of the city, but to hold the police accountable, so that when they show up, they have to actually engage with you. If I show up on the scene and I get to a domestic violence scene already, and I've already calmed the scene down and the police get there, I can pass it over to the police in a situation that's already calm, where it should be no reason for them to act the way that they act, where I'm telling them, this is the situation, this is what happened, this is what we did, and you don't even need your gun. You can stay in the fucking car, really, okay? And those are the things for me. I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? Because we'll do that on our own right now. In my city, people call me instead of the police because they don't fucking trust the police. They call me for missing kids and we find them because the police don't find them. Okay, they call us for when people murder their family because we find out who did it and the police don't find them. You know what I mean? They call us for every situation. And the police are called when they have to be called, but they're not actually fighting or working for us. And when we get on the scene, the police try to push us around because we're not a part of their agenda. Even though we show up on the scene, we de-escalated, we got everything calm, the police come and fucking escalate it right the fuck back up. Every single, it's like the more we out there de-escalating, the more they hate us being out there de-escalating. Like, I've never had so many felonies in my life until I started fighting for fucking peace. Think about that shit. In real life, I just beat 2 felonies because the police stabbed me on the bridge and charged me with assaulting an officer, felony assaulting an officer while resisting arrest, while I got stabbed on TV by the police at the bottom of a pileup. And they charged me with 2 felonies.
And they charged me with the 2016 riots in Milwaukee, charged me with felony there. I ain't never faced so many felony charges and FBI agents in my life until I started fighting for fucking peace. Like, really think about that shit. That's fucking fucked up. I'm 39 years old. I look nice today, I shaved and everything. But I'm 39 years old. Like in real life, my son over there, he's 20 years old. I'm 39 years old. I done been through everything. Never had a drug charge, never had a domestic violence charge, never had a check fraud charge, never had none of that shit. But now, these last couple years, all of my tickets and every time I've been arrested, I've been fighting for peace, peacefully protesting, getting felonies, getting felony charges. So when they say free the people, that's what they talking about. Because people should not be getting felony charges for fucking fighting for freedom by exercising their goddamn rights. And I think about that because in my situation, they said I had a glass bottle in my hand with a cell phone during a march. What do we all know about marching? Everything is plastic. Who gonna have a glass bottle during a march? Okay? So it was just so many lies that they told that I know in the situation with Daniel Prude that they told way more because they had to cover up a murder. All they were trying to cover up was they hurt me. All they were trying to cover up was they cut me up. They came up with a whole story talking about how I said I'm going to kill these fucking police. I had a bottle in my hand, never produced a bottle, never produced a glass. They charged me. They arrested me for this shit. Literally arrested me for the shit while I was standing there. And everybody saw them push everybody out the way, point to me and body slam me on the highway. And they came up with all of these different lies and all of these different things they said to try to make it seem like I did something all because they cut me by accident. So what would they do to a man they killed? What kind of lie? How many people will be involved in that? How many people gonna try to keep their job? How many people gonna try to cover up what the fuck they did with Daniel Prude if they'll do that to individuals that ain't doing shit out here but peacefully protesting? And that's why we out here. And that's why y'all gotta keep fighting. And that's why y'all gotta keep going. Because if y'all don't keep going, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. And I'm gonna tell y'all the realest shit I ever said. And it's gonna be sad when I tell y'all this. I done fought for like 10 families. Like 10 families. And I ain't fucking never got justice. You know how that feel to fight for a family for 2 years, knowing the motherfucking government gonna tell you these police ain't gonna fucking go to jail, knowing that no matter what you do, you can't get justice for this family, but you fighting your fucking heart out for this family, knowing you're not gonna get justice? Do y'all know how that feel? Knowing you can't tell them you ain't gonna get justice, praying for justice, fight for justice for year after year after year, family after family after family getting killed by the police with no national media attention, so nobody really give a fuck. And to see these families hurt and bury their loved ones and don't get no goddamn justice, if y'all stop fighting for Daniel Prude, he'll never get justice. I'm just telling y'all the truth. If y'all don't come out here in more and more numbers, every time y'all come, y'all should be inviting somebody. Every time y'all here, y'all should be meeting somebody. Y'all should be calling each other and saying, are you going to be there tomorrow? Are you going to be there? Are you okay? How was your day today? Because at the end of the day, when you leave here, y'all be having fucked up days just for being here. A lot of y'all be going through shit with y'all families, with y'all friends, with y'all fiancés, with y'all loved ones that don't never understand why y'all be out here, especially our allies. So y'all gotta call each other and make sure each other okay and make sure y'all keep coming out here because that's the only way that family gonna get justice for that man. I ain't never seen it without the people staying together. I ain't never seen the government just give themselves justice. I ain't never seen the government make shit right without the pressure from the people. From the LGBTQ, how they get it? They got it by applying pressure. The government didn't fix that shit. The Native Americans applied pressure. Martin Luther King them applied pressure. That's the only way we ever got fucking anything from this government. They is not gonna do that shit theyself. So y'all gotta keep on fighting. Y'all gotta keep on going. Y'all gotta keep loving each other. And y'all gotta keep the motherfucking police to know that it don't matter if they tear gas y'all, pepper ball y'all, pepper spray y'all, no matter what the fuck y'all do, y'all ain't gonna stop until y'all get justice for Daniel Prude and anybody else in the city that has lost their loved one and has lost their life against the fucking police. I love y'all and I'm done. I'm sorry for my time.
Another round of applause. Let me tell y'all something. So today, as y'all know, the Attorney General is in town, right? And we got the opportunity, a couple of us black women got the opportunity to sit down with her this morning. And as she went over the data, as she went over her plan, as she told us what she was gonna do, it's a very real possibility that these officers don't get indicted, right? But I told her with a straight face, we ready to do whatever it takes to make sure the Prude family gets justice, right? So whether these officers get indicted or not, we are prepared to do whatever it takes. I told her, look at Portland, look at Brooklyn, look at all of these places where black men was killed and those cities burnt to the fucking ground. And ours is not right now. And it's because of the grace of the protesters, right? And we see the media and we see how they paint pictures calling us violent, but this city literally can be burned to the ground. And it's not that we don't want to, but I want people to acknowledge the fact that we have a black mayor and a black chief of police, and if either one of them was white, this city would be over. So please, as we go forward, what Frank Nitty just said is not anything lost on us. It is a very real possibility. But we're not here because we're bored. We're not here because, we expect it to be over in a couple of weeks. Justice is coming by any means necessary, period. Period. Whatever we have to do. Whatever we have to do. And not just for Daniel Prude and his family, but for the protesters who lost eyes, who got broken legs, who've been out here every single night getting tear gas and pepper spray and hit with rubber bullets. We are out here for the long haul. And every single one of us have everything that it takes to bring justice, to get it done. Every single one of us have it deep down on the inside of us. We got to keep on pushing. And we got to get some more stamina and some more grace, whatever it takes, because a generation is coming behind us. And we gotta loosen these chains a little bit, right? I don't think that we're gonna, I always say this, I don't think that we're gonna undo white supremacy in my lifetime. But what I do expect is that when my daughter and hopefully my grandchildren come behind me, we'll be done loosen the chains a little bit so it'll be a little bit easier for them. So please don't take it lightly that you are here today. Don't take it lightly that you've been here for the last 16 weeks and the last 2 weeks. We are called to do this work, period. And we gotta see it as a part of our purpose. If we don't march, who's gonna march? If we don't shut shit down, who's gonna shut shit down? If we don't stand up for Daniel Prude and his family, who's gonna do it? It is our responsibility, even though we're tired, even though we're exhausted, even though it's getting motherfucking cold, that don't mean shit. We're gonna be out here. And when it's too cold to march, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna change our strategies, but we're gonna be on the scene. The Attorney General told us that we can expect some word about the indictment, about the grand jury's indictment at the end of October. We're gonna be out here. And we're gonna be on her ass. And when she came, it was a good conversation. And she was one of the first elected officials who actually stood up and was doing the right thing. But our foot gonna be on her neck too. Because they talk. They don't do the right thing because they're good people. They do the right thing because we put pressure on them. And that is our job, to put pressure on them. So when the next generation come, when my daughter get up, she don't gotta be up 5 days in a row, not getting no fucking sleep, working a full-time job, being a full-time mom, and now a motherfucking teacher for virtual school. We're not just doing this for Daniel Prude. There is a generation coming behind us. And I don't want my cousins and my little brothers and my grandchildren to be beat up by the motherfucking police because they can do it. Frank Nitty talked about getting some things in place so that when people are calling the police for mental health crises, that the police are not showing up, that we have another group of folks that's showing up. I want y'all to know, I sat down the other day with a couple of women who work for the city / the police department, and they are mental health workers. And their number one job is to hold the fucking radio when people are calling the police so that the police are not going on mental health calls by themselves. And like, we're fighting for these things without knowing that. And I'm like, so why y'all didn't go to the Daniel Prude call? Because they don't go to calls unless police request them to go to calls. Like, we have to know what's happening and we have to change it. Also, we're not out here just doing this. Mama Mel and her people, doctors, physicians, whatever, psychiatrists, they're in the background working because some money gonna be loosened up so that we can create some things. And we want our people saying we know what's good for us. So y'all will hear about it. They're gonna do a press conference or whatever they're gonna do. Pretend like I ain't say this, like I put it out before them. But it's some black physicians in the background saying, hey, let's figure out another mechanism. Calling the police ain't working for us. And who keep us safe? Who keep us safe? So while we're out here, we've been out here fighting, and yeah, we're here for Daniel Prude, but there's so many other systems that's in place to keep us down, right? So we think about healthcare, we think about housing, we think about a livable wage, we think about education. Let's not even talk about education, but we think about education, and just know, like, this work is intergenerational, right? So Pam has been working on housing for like who knows when. Not just housing though, right? Her son-in-law just ran for assembly, right? Yeah. Right? And we were doing these Free the People marches, and we were saying, like, we don't want no political people here. Don't be walking around with your elect this person. Pam didn't give a damn, okay? And her grandson is going to be our next her son-in-law is going to be our next assemblyman. And the day after he won, I was like, Damon, congratulations, but just know our foot going to be on your motherfucking neck, okay? Like, we're here to hold you accountable. So Pam's going to come and talk to us. She's been here every single week, y'all. Every single week, holding it down, carrying her flag, telling y'all to vote every single week. So let's give her a round of applause as she come and give us her thoughts.
You want to get there?
Period. Happy birthday, Daniel Prude. Happy birthday, Daniel Prude. Happy birthday, Daniel Prude. Just watching the video alone was devastating. I could never really watch the whole video. Every time I start watching it, it's horrific. I don't understand how they could watch this and not just arrest the police. Charge them with murder. That was cold-blooded murder. And for the families to have to sit around and wait for them to make a decision over something that we all see that would happen is horrible. It's horrible, and they continue to do this time after time. They continue to beat our children, kill our children, and get away with it. My nephew, Craig Hurd, was 14 years old. This little. He went to over East Avenue. He got caught up. He was good though. He was a good kid. He never even got a chance to smoke marijuana or do anything or sex or anything. He was at my house one day. The next day he left and went home. The next evening, Craig Hurd was dead. The police shot him twice in the head, talking about the car that he was in was a weapon. On a one-way street over on East Avenue, the cops never got charged, never went to jail, and I think that is dead wrong. And from that, my kids and my whole family has been totally affected because that is not right, and we want justice done for Daniel Prude, Craig Hurd, and anybody else in Rochester that's been affected by the police. Enough is enough of them. I hate the police. I hate them. I won't even call them to my house. Every time I call the police to my house, they want to arrest me. They really do. They want to arrest me when I call them, they want to take me to jail. I had 9 children, and from the fact, I don't know for Craig, but a lot of other things, but mental illness is real in my family. So it is real. I'm seeing all these things happen in the community and all the murders. My oldest son was murdered, my nephew was murdered, my other nephew was murdered, murder. And it's just a lot of devastation. And the whole city is just sitting like they're stuck. This whole city is so corrupt and needs to be called out. Enough is enough, Lovely Warren. Enough is enough. You have got to do things different and look at it as a situation that God sees it at. It's terrible how you're doing us. And we want this man arrested now. We want him arrested. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Give Pam another round of applause. So y'all, this is the birthday party, and we're about to get it cracking real soon. We got one more speaker. I want to talk about, like, while we're also asking for justice for Daniel Prude and his family, let's not forget, we want reparations for them as well, right? We don't mention that a lot. You know, money is a scary, scary topic for folks. I mean, not for me, please. But for people, it makes folks uncomfortable. But we want justice. We want these officers prosecuted and convicted. But we also want reparations, period. So next we're going to have Serena come and give us her thoughts. She's an organizer. She's been here working, I mean, like, working her butt off. Just has a heart to serve, and we just love her. We appreciate her, and she's been really a part of this. After Serena, we're going to get it popping with the DJs. DJ, I just forgot their names, but they bomb.
Thank you, Ashley. Hi, everybody. Black Lives Matter. All Black Lives Matter. All Black Lives Matter. One more time. All Black Lives Matter. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. All right. If any of you know me, I'm an angry woman. And I come from a culture where it's not okay for a black woman to be angry. but I'm going to be angry today. And today I want to address the middle class white people, the evangelical white people. You are getting us killed with your indignation for order. You are getting us killed. Your family members who are white, who sit at the table with you talking about, oh, but they're agitators. Oh, but look at them. They're burning stores. They're throwing things at the police. Fuck that. Fuck that. They're getting us killed. The ones sitting in the suburbs. The ones sitting in the suburbs. Being okay with black people in the city getting murdered like Daniel Prude. And talking about they don't listen to the police. Oh, they can't manage themselves. They can't manage their own communities. Fuck that. They're getting us killed. Okay? Justice over order. Justice over order. I said justice over motherfucking order. Justice over motherfucking order. Get your family members together. Make them read books. Sit with them. If you have to sit in their homes until they listen to you. We need justice over order. Black people are dying. I'm sick and tired of sitting in classrooms and being asked to do homework when black people are getting murdered. I'm sick and tired of having conversations. How are you doing? No, I'm not doing okay. I have an 8-year-old son. His name is John. He goes to school number 15. Go check him out if you want. I want my son to live until he's 98 years old. To die of natural consequences. Not to die at the hands of police. Not to die because of a school system that does not help him get an education, so he has to live in poverty for the rest of his life. No! Justice over order.
Justice over order.
Reparations over having police to police our communities. Justice. Reparations. Get your white people together. Your evangelical white family members are getting us killed. Yes. Enough is enough. Justice over motherfucking order. It's a command. It is a command. You are called to get your white relatives together. You are being called right now. Right now, if you can hear the sound of my voice and you are white, you are being called to get your white folks together. Because it's justice over order. Enough is enough. We need our children to survive. We need our communities to thrive and to look like the suburbs. We are worthy. We are worthy. We are human. We have dignity. We have dreams. Okay? We have ambition. We are just as worthy. Get your people. Justice over order. Ashe.
There's nothing even to say after that. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. So y'all, while the DJ is looking for the song, we're going to prepare our hearts for a moment of silence. It's going to be 2 minutes in honor of Daniel Prude and the life lost. But before that, I want to give you guys some quick house rules. But before that, let's give Serena another round of applause. I feel like I just went to church. So I want to give you guys some house rules, right? So one, the First Universalist Church and Jiva Theater is open for bathrooms if anybody has to use the bathroom. We have tons of food over here, cupcakes, regular birthday cake. The sides aren't here yet, but they're gonna be served in about 15 or 20 minutes. We want you to get with the music. It's a party, dance. We're gonna have a balloon release. We're gonna have a balloon release in a little bit for for Daniel Prude and his family. It's a goddamn shame that we can just change these names like this. For Daniel Prude and his family. But please, guys, if you guys see his brother, his sister-in-law out here, please let them feel our love today. Let them feel the love of Rochester and while we're out here. And then we're going to have potato salad. Before we do this song, we're going to have, before we do our moment of silence, come and read like just our grounding principles so that we are all on the same page, agreeing on the same thing. We know that we have all different types of people from all different backgrounds come to this thing. And at the end of the day, no matter what, people should feel our love, period. That's our responsibility. We want to love each other, and we want to love each other well. We want people to walk away from here knowing that, like, they felt that connection. They felt our energy, and it was nothing but love. So let's give Potato Salad a round of applause while she read our guiding principles. They read our guiding principles.
You know what? I love you. I love you. Give it up for Ashley, for Serena, for Daniel Prude's family, and for all of you that have continued to come out. So these are our guiding principles. All Black Lives Matter.
All Black Lives Matter.
Queer Black Lives Matter.
Queer Black Lives Matter.
Trans Black Lives Matter.
Trans Black Lives Matter.
Black women's lives matter.
Black women's lives matter.
Black sex workers' lives matter.
Black sex workers' lives matter.
Black men's lives matter.
Black men's lives matter.
Formerly incarcerated Black Lives Matter.
Formerly incarcerated Black Lives matter.
Currently incarcerated Black Lives Matter.
Currently incarcerated Black Lives matter.
Disabled Black Lives Matter.
Disabled Black Lives matter.
Immigrant Black Lives Matter.
Immigrant Black Lives matter.
Children's Black Lives Matter.
Children's Black Lives matter.
Elderly Black Lives Matter.
Elderly Black Lives matter.
All Black Lives Matter.
All Black Lives matter.
You don't have to repeat this part, but all Black Lives Matter and are creators of this space. But please repeat this part, okay? We throw no one under the bus.
We throw no one under the bus.
We rise and thrive together.
We rise and thrive together.
Let's just repeat that part, because Mayor Lovely won't be throwing people under the bus. We throw no one under the bus.
We throw no one under the bus.
We rise and thrive together.
We rise and thrive together.
Most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership, at the center of our movement and telling their own stories. Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. And that's something when we say our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. I know y'all see a whole bunch of us out here all the time and you recognize our faces, but you're like, oh, that's not the person that's in charge. No. Our movement is constantly growing and our leadership is constantly multiplying. Do not second guess Black leaders on the ground. We're putting our lives on the line to show you that we want you to have our back. Like, who keep us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keep us safe?
We keep us safe.
Then act like it and listen when people tell you something. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we are currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. I can't say words that quick. Think beyond the impossible. We deserve more, basically. This isn't fucking cutting it. We deserve more and we want more for us and future generations. We deserve more, period. Reparations, I know Ashley talked about that. That's a thank you. Like, hand it all over, thank you. Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics. And leave behind those that no longer serve us. Leave behind those that no longer serve us. This fucking system is not working for us. It wasn't built for us. Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. We'll be the first people to check ourselves. And that's the problem. White people don't check themselves. So we're here for it. Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. We call this radical honesty. Daring to be honest about what we are feeling, when we are feeling, so we can... Nobody's near me, I'm taking this off. So we can learn how to communicate in ways that are most effective and limit harm. In ways that are most effective and limit harm. Sometimes I see us talking to each other just like the systems we're trying to break, and we have to check each other and remember why we're here. We are not each other's enemy. Except for the undercover cops in here. We gonna find you. You are the enemy. Okay?
360-degree vision. We honor our past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We concede our mark on future generations. The next one I'm about to say is something that you all really need to listen to. This is something that we're forgetting. It's so easy, and this is to myself as well. You can hear it in my voice. I barely have a voice left. We keep forgetting about this, but we can't fight this fight if we don't remember this. Self-care. Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Repeat this after me. Self-care is regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Love and self-love is practiced in every element of what we do. Love and self-love must be the driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe. Okay,
let's give Ilhan a round of applause. So y'all, we're gonna take our 2-minute moment of silence, and for the black folks in the room, hold space, love yourself. Think about the fact that we're out here fighting, and we are the most resilient people, and we push through nothing to create something. And for the white folks in the room, during this moment of silence, think of ways you can leverage your privilege for equity and equality.
No man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots be on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up. One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, but we fight on to the finish. Then when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh glory. We'll cry glory, oh glory, Selma is now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Facing the league of justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, a king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald ego. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing, our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win a war individually. It take the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory, the coming of the Lord. Lord, my eyes have seen the glory. One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh,
So thank you guys for that moment of silence. The DJ, it's going to be into the hands of the DJ now. Please get food, get cake, talk to the Joe Prude and Valerie Prude. Let them
Even though I had to explain again, I wasn't a cop.
How many mothers have to cry? How many brothers gotta die? How many more times? How many more times? How many more marches? How many more signs? How many more lives? How many more times? Take a look around. Can you see it now? Don't be colorblind.
They don't make a shirt, it's not a cop. Every damn time, bro. It's the haircut. It's the haircut. I'm gonna grow my hair out.
Sitting on the couch in your own house. Never seen a matter what we do. You think we don't matter what we do? You got a problem 'cause the city on fire. But you quiet when niggas die. Like the soul about that body that we burn. You a God that you no longer have to worry. It's so hard to sing these words out loud. All these beautiful, precious black lives. Lost in the name of senseless white pride.
So Luna's over here getting smothered with love from the Prude family. Look at her.
Got my head in class, but my feet on the ground. I'm stuck in my feelings. Can't run from my feelings. No, my mind's on the ride.
Audio check 1, 2.
My heart's on the grind.